There you go.
Hi, everybody.
I'm doing the thumbnail thing.
Uh-huh. It probably already got you before you did that, too.
Yeah, I'm probably like, blinking or something.
Our usual, what?
Yeah. Huh? That's right.
Yep. You're sitting there, and my eyes look like they're closed. Good job, Facebook, once again.
That's right. Let me go share it real quick.
Yep.
Let me go share it real quick. You hear me talking on here? You hear me talking on here? Why can't I share it? That's weird.
Mute first, please.
It's. I thought I'd do it through the app. I'm not going to do it through the app.
Okay. All right, got the question of the week ready to go. Hey, if you're just watching us, this is the pre-show for Technorama. We usually have a banner on there. Bring that up. There we go. We're just getting all the technical bits ironed out. There's some things we just can't do before we hit broadcast, and that's share the broadcast. So
I'm having trouble sharing it now. What do you?
And whose fault is that?
Facebook. They don't make this easy.
Stupid technology. You're starting to sound like my parents.
I know.
Every Sunday is a Zoom call with my dad, and it's like a tech support session every time. All right, turn that off, and we will begin recording.
And now it won't shut up.
Well, that's two of you.
There. Goodness. Facebook.
You ready to start this crazy train?
Yeah, let's do that.
All right. Recording in 3, 2, 1. Wait, I need the show notes.
You need the show notes at this point?
I don't remember the number and the date.
Oh, okay.
Okay, recording in 3, 2, 1. Technorama episode 693. The Salmon must have really good bandwidth because they're streaming. Hey, welcome to Technorama, the show that takes a lighthearted look at tech, science, sci-fi, and all things geek. If you're joining us for the first time, welcome. And if you're returning, welcome back. We appreciate you giving us your time. My name is Chuck Tomasi from Arizona. And right there is Mr. Craig Stepp. How are you, Craig?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
I'm all right. It's Sunday.
We're
ready to kick off another week. I've got a new hire starting at work this week. It's going to be interesting.
You got an intern?
No, an FTE. A full-time equivalent.
Equivalent
to what? I'm not sure where that term.
Full-time equivalent?
That's what FTE stands for.
That's kind of weird. I don't know.
He's a full-time employee.
Either are or you're not. Doesn't make any sense, but okay.
I always heard it as full-time equivalent, but I guess it could be a full-time employee.
Yeah, that's exactly what it stands for.
I don't know. It's not the way I learned it 30 years ago. Go look it up on your internet. See what it says.
Let's see what it says. FTE.
Fuel turbo engine.
Yeah.
Flying turtle.
Full-time equivalent. What? Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Doubt the old timer again.
It's a unit that indicates the workload of an employee person that in a way that makes workloads or class loads comparable. I'm sorry, cross.
It doesn't make it bearable.
It doesn't. This doesn't make any sense, but okay.
All right. Well, hey, we got some feedback because it's still November. We're halfway through as we record this. It's International Technorama Voicemail Month.
That's right. All month long.
Let's play that feedback song because we got some feedback.
Letters. Oh, we get letters. We get your letters every day.
And voicemail.
Mail. We try them and pull one out.
Those
letters. I love those letters. Let's find out what you got to say.
Oh, boy.
Mail today.
Oh, we got a fax coming in.
I know some of you are having flashbacks at that. It's like, it's a 300 baud modem coming at you.
300 baud, yeah.
All right, we got some voicemail. Let's start with this one from Crazy Joe.
Good morning. It is Crazy Joe calling. Hope you guys are doing good. I was just listening to the last Technorama show,
Yes.
and Craig inadvertently hit upon one of my pet peeves, and I thought I would call you guys and tell you about this pet peeve. Craig mentioned that he was looking at the Halloween section on HBO Max, and they had Gremlins under there.
Yes.
This drives me crazy.
Yes.
It's not Craig's fault, obviously. It's HBO Max.
Oh, okay.
And it's every year this seems to happen. Gremlins always pops up around Halloween in Halloween sections of like, oh, here's some movies to stream for Halloween, or movie theaters will be.
Yeah, so does The Nightmare Before Christmas, too. It's like, it's got Christmas in the title.
I know. Yeah.
Let's keep going.
Hey, we're re-releasing movies for Halloween. This week we got Halloween, and next week is I don't know, Beetlejuice, and the week after that is Gremlins. And every time they seem to want to stick Gremlins in there as a Halloween movie, and it drives me crazy because Gremlins is a Christmas movie. It is absolutely positively a Christmas movie in Christmas. The whole thing takes place at Christmas. Gizmo is a Christmas gift. There's Christmas presents everywhere. There's Santa Clauses.
Her dad
There's
died in the
Christmas
chimney.
carols. They play "Do You Hear What I Hear?" They play, Christmas is never enough. The thing, the Christmas carols.
It's going to go through the whole
presents,
soundtrack.
And
That's right.
you can't actually, the movie falls apart if you take Christmas out of the movie. Christmas is integral to the plot of Gremlins, but yet every year they want to stick it out there as a Halloween movie. And it's not a Halloween movie, it's a Christmas movie. I watch Gremlins every Christmas Eve. It's actually my favorite Christmas movie. I watch it every year on Christmas Eve. But yeah, love the movie. It's a phenomenal movie. And one of the best movies ever made. But it's not a Halloween movie. All right, I just had to get that off my chest. Keep wearing those pajamas.
Here, this one's for you. Joe. Yeah, that and Die Hard. And Nightmare
Yeah,
Before
see,
Christmas.
Die Hard's a great Christmas movie. And by Joe's standard, it takes place during Christmas. There's Christmas songs.
There's a Christmas party going on.
Yeah, it's a Christmas party.
Hans
Yeah.
Gruber is a Christmas name.
That's right.
Wait. All right. We've
It's
got
not-
one.
Hey, it's not Christmas until you kiss under the Hans Gruber. I don't know.
Have another Schnitzengruben? No thanks, baby. 14's my limit. All right, let's do another one.
Hey guys, Mike Robinson here. I had a pondering that kind of scares me. Okay, they keep wanting to clone mastodons and all these other creatures,
Mhm.
and then also scientists like to recreate things from Star Trek. Is there some idiot out there planning on making
Mhm.
it turbo? And if who, where are they doing it? Anyway, I figured you guys might know. Have a good one. Bye.
He wants to know where they're doing it. It makes it sound like I'm going to go blow up
Well,
the place.
Hey, I can guarantee you there is some idiot out there.
I didn't find anything on the internet. I did some searching. Nothing came up yet.
Right.
But it probably won't be, the research won't be announced until they actually do it. But yeah.
Watch when a mastodon is actually born. It looks like probably be like a little.
A little fur ball. That's all.
It'll look like a tribble.
More fur balls. All right,
Yeah.
he's got another one here. Pondering.
Hey guys, two ponderous brain farts here. Number
That's
one,
us. Oh,
since everybody keeps bouncing lasers off the moon, why haven't they used it for advertising yet?
Oh.
And
Oh.
why can't I remember the second one?
Okay, what? I didn't catch that
why
last
can't I
part.
remember the second one?
Oh yeah, right.
He said two things at the beginning. Two
know, I
ponderous
imagine-
brain parts here. That could be our new tagline.
Imagine having one of those powerful lasers. I mean, it would have to be pretty powerful to get to the moon, but if it's powerful enough to
Draw something.
yeah, maybe you could
I'll
have You could have the Pink Floyd laser light show on the moon, on the light side of the moon, of course. But
Well, not if you go to like a crescent moon, then you could be on that dark side.
that's true. That's true. Hey, did you see the eclipse the other night?
I caught the
morning?
tail end of it. It
Mhm.
was like started at 1:30 a.m. our time. Like, but by the time I got up for my morning walk, no, by the time I woke up, the bottom half was still chopped off, or the bottom like quarter.
Mhm.
And then the pictures that I sent you of the sun rising and the moon
Yes.
setting on the same day,
Yes.
that was just like an hour later.
Okay. Oh yeah. Well, I got up that morning. Usually I'm up about by 5:30. I'm taking the dogs out. But I knew that the eclipse was going, so I went straight out.
Mhm.
With them as early as I could. So it's about 5 o'clock, and it it was changing. Part of it was like super white.
Yeah.
As it was changing. Got the dogs out, and then as soon as I got back into the driveway, I set up a chair and just sat out there in the dark watching the moon, with my coffee, just sitting there watching it till it went past the trees and I couldn't really see it anymore. But it was probably quite an event. I love it when
I've seen those before. I mean,
I know. I mean, it's fun to watch, but I like seeing it when it's just lit enough. It really makes it look
yeah.
almost spherical, very spherical, more than
The next one is in 2025, so we've got a couple more years to wait.
Okay, maybe I'll still be getting up at 5 probably. I don't
Maybe.
know.
All right, a question of the week for you from last week was, what are the books every person should read at least once? And we had a number of comments on Facebook. There it is. Had to bring it back open. John Kreitzer says George Orwell's 1984.
Mhm.
And Fritz from Germany replied back. He said, for younger folks, Animal Farm.
Yeah.
Well, that was a
that's
game. No, that's Animal Crossing. Sorry.
Animal Crossing. Fritz also commented and said, almost every book of Terry Pratchett.
And Robinson Crusoe, he threw in there.
Yeah.
Stephen Weshy says, well dated, I suggest the book How to Win Friends and Influence People. Yeah, that's a good one.
I don't think I've ever read that.
Oh, you should read it.
I didn't need it.
A Stephen Covey
Hey.
one?
I didn't need it.
Yeah, you do.
What? Wait,
Imagine what you could have accomplished if you did read it.
I
How's
know.
that?
Okay, fair
Oh
enough.
man, Fritz went overboard on this one. He's got like most of our comments in here.
Yeah.
The trilogy, The Divine Cities by Robert Jackson Bennett.
And he also said The 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea and From Earth to the Moon.
Ooh, good stuff by
Jules
Jules
Verne
Verne.
there. Yep.
Isn't that Doc Brown's kids' names? Jules and Verne?
It was. It is. Yes.
Jack Mangan says podcasting for dummies.
Right.
He got 3 laughing faces on that.
I know. Wow. Yeah. Well, it was you and I and the Technorama podcast that laughed on that one. So Craig Glassner says News from Nowhere by William Morris. It is considered an early work of science fiction fantasy with a definite utopian socialist bent.
Hmm.
Of course, I would say Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, but what would you recommend?
Didn't we already cover some of these last week? Maybe not.
The books?
The Cuckoo's Egg by Clifford Stoll. That's a good one for anybody who's... It's dated, but it still gives you some good ideas about internet security and how hackers can go from one machine to another machine through loopholes in security and creating backdoor accounts, etc.
Right.
So, but it's and then the whole dramatic story about how he tracked the guy down, the Hanover hacker.
That's cool.
I have a signed copy of that.
You do?
Yep.
Pictures or it didn't happen.
Whatever, dude.
There you go.
So faithful. All right, we're going to ask another question at the end of the show for you. So
Yeah.
that means it's time to march the band in here for history time.
Oh boy, here we go.
On this day in history for November 16th, 2022, it's the 320th day of the year in the Gregorian calendar. There are 45 days remaining in 2022. It was on this date in 1855 that David Livingstone, I presume, became the first European to see the Victoria Falls. Oh, hope they didn't get hurt when they fell
Yeah,
or when she fell.
when she fell.
Yeah, he's the first person to see the Victoria Falls in what is now Zambia, Zimbabwe.
And November 16th, 1904, English engineer John Ambrose Fleming received a patent for the thermonic valve, which is a vacuum tube.
The thermionic valve. Doesn't that sound straight out of science fiction?
It does.
Something Jenkum Pog got all excited about. Ooh, look, they have thermionic valves.
Yeah, that's right.
The same date in 1914, the Federal Reserve Bank of the United States officially opened.
And also on November 16th, 1920, Qantas, the Australian national airline, was founded as Queensland and Northwest Territory Aerial Services Limited, which didn't quite have the same ring to it as Qantas.
November 16, 1938, LSD was first synthesized by 1938. It didn't, not the 50s, not the 60s, 38.
Yeah.
First synthesized by a man named Albert Hoffman, made out of ergotamine at the Sandoz Laboratories in Basel.
The cell. And on also today in 1965, the Soviet Union launched the Venera 3 space probe towards Venus, which was the first spacecraft to reach the surface of another planet.
That's pretty cool.
Now we
They
got
outdid us again.
now we got a ton of used spacecrafts over in Mars.
It was also on the date in 1973 that the U.S. President Richard Nixon signed the Trans-Alaska Pipeline Authorization Act into law, authorizing the construction of the Alaska Pipeline.
Okay. And also today in 1973, NASA launched Skylab 4 with a crew of 3 astronauts from Cape Canaveral, Florida, for an 84 negative day mission.
I remember that.
An 84 minus day mission.
I was just missing a space.
There you go.
Okay, no, put it back.
Why?
That same date in 1974, the Arecibo message was broadcast from Puerto Rico. Happy birthday goes out of this day to French mathematician, physicist, and philosopher Jean-Laurent d'Alembert, born on this date in 1717.
And Alexander Kolchak was the Russian admiral and explorer. Was born 148 years ago today.
That was the lady who lived like across the hall from Laverne and Shirley, Mrs. Kolchak.
Not quite. Maybe her ancestor.
I know I'm tapping Joe on the shoulder with things like that.
Right.
American actor, singer, director, producer, and screenwriter Burgess Meredith. You're a bum. He was born 115 years ago today. That means he was like in his 70s when he did Rocky.
Yeah, I keep thinking of the Twilight Zone. You know, when he broke his glasses.
Yep.
Dawes Butler, American voice actor and singer, was born on that same date in 1916.
Can you name the voice actor, the voice that Dawes did?
I should know, but
Woody Woodpecker.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Gene Amdahl, the American computer scientist, physicist, and engineer, was born 100 years ago today. I'm going to give you a little factoid about that man after we're done here.
Okay. And Japanese video game designer Shigeru Miyamoto was born on this date in 1952.
Also born on that date in 1977, Australian singer-songwriter and actress from Farscape is where I know her from, Gigi Edgley. And listener birthdays, we have one this week. We need more names on that birthday calendar, people.
Only one person had a birthday this week?
From our point of view, yes. Tom Pose on November 22nd. Happy birthday to you, Tom. Actually, his daughter, Julia, just reached out to us. And that's the way it was on this day in history for November 16th, 2022. Remember, if you want to be on our birthday calendar, it's in here somewhere. There it is. Get that up there. You can go to chuckchat.com/birthday, and we will give you a shout out at the appropriate time of year. If it's your birthday this week and you're not on the calendar, of course, we wish you all the best. Hope you have a wonderful birthday. And
Yep.
I think, well,
Happy
there's
birthday to
still
you too, Chuck. Wait,
no. It's not my birthday this week.
no, not yet.
Bye, band. Okay, now Gene Amdahl. Do you know that name
Yeah,
from
or
like
on
2
this
minutes
day in
ago?
history, 2 seconds ago.
Least common denominator answer there, people.
That's right. Yeah, we just talked about her. All right,
It's
what
a
about
him.
her?
It's a him.
Oh, him.
Gene.
I'm sorry,
Gene.
him. Yeah. What about him?
He founded Amdahl Computers, and
Okay.
our company founder, Fred Luddy from ServiceNow, used to
Mhm.
work for Gene back in the 70s.
Oh,
Remember
I
the
see.
story
Okay.
about Phyllis and making the record safe so she didn't have to enter every field every time and a lot of repeated data? That was in that era. A lot of our corporate culture comes from Amdahl Computers and Gene Amdahl's company. So what we are today as ServiceNow has roots into that. And it's his 100th birthday. If you do the math or maths, this was like 50 years ago that this was happening. So he was in his 50s. He was like our age when Fred Luddy came working for him. So next time you have some youngster come looking at you, remember, you're that old and it's going to be 100 years pretty soon.
Yeah, right.
That was my wake up, like, ah,
Yeah. Actually, you should make a post to the about that at work.
I am.
Okay.
I'm going to. I've got it on my calendar for Wednesday.
All
Like,
right.
go post happy birthday to Gene Amdahl and a little blurb about that.
Yeah.
So thank you, Fred. Thank you, Gene. Thank you, everybody who helps us keep this going. All right, let's get into the news with a random thought.
News and weather, everyone.
All right, we have an article from NPR.org
Mhm.
about a rare earth element, but it's not actually all that rare because now they can synthesize it. So what happened is scientists have found a meteorite that hit the ground. They found the metal was this combination of nickel and iron, but it's in a certain ratio that makes it kind of rare, and it really made it wonderfully magnetic. I want to make sure that I don't get these two stories mixed up. But it can be used for making permanent magnets. Now, permanent magnets are very useful, of course. A lot of our listeners know permanent magnets are part of making electricity. If you want to make a
Right.
generator, you turn a turbine and the generator generates, and it's got permanent
A
magnets.
turbine, like you turn the.
No, turbine.
Okay, there you go.
A turbine. Okay, so these two teams of scientists, one at Northeastern University in Boston and the other at University of Cambridge in the UK, announced they managed to manufacture this in the lab on
Mhm.
Earth, which up until now has only been found in meteorites. Laura Henderson Lewis was one of the professors in the Northeast team, and she told them that this was a combination. She's the one who figured it out. It was the nickel and the iron, which were cooled over millions of years as meteoroids and asteroids tumbled through space. The compound is called tetratenite.
Okay.
Crazy name. And by using this, it could make green energy technologies significantly cheaper. Like, oh, hey, now we're getting somewhere. Now, this has to do with us because in order to make really good magnets right now, you need these things called rare earth elements. It's not that they're rare, it's just that they're really hard to get at
Right.
because you got to mine a whole bunch of stuff. And there's a wonderful story about the Chinese had this iron mine and they were throwing away the tailings, and the Japanese go, "Hey, can we buy your
Yeah.
waste?" Because they found it was high in rare earth elements.
Yeah.
Until
So
the
they're like,
Chinese
oh
caught
yeah,
on
sure.
with that.
Wait, why you
Yeah.
want them?
Why do you want our garbage? Why do you want to
Yeah.
buy our garbage? And then they figured it out. So it says permanent magnets are used in advanced machinery. On the other hand, they have to be able to resist tremendous pressures and temperatures for long periods of time. And to acquire these properties, they need a special ingredient called rare earths. And of course, they go into what I just said about China has a whole bunch of this stuff. The U.S. used to be like the lead producer in this, but then China went, We got more, and we can get it to you cheaper. So that now China controls more than 71% of the world's extraction and 87% of the world's processing capacity for rare earths. Two of these are neodymium, I always say that wrong, and praseodymium. Yeah, I hope I even got close on that one.
Right.
And
Be
those
careful. We're going to blow the budget on these words tonight.
you may have heard, of neodymium magnets, the really strong ones that you can barely pull apart. You kind of have to slide
Yes.
them apart.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what many of these are for. Uh, However, they do say it'll be a long time before the tetratenate is in a position to disrupt any existing markets, Laura Lewis says. She says there's still a lot of testing to be done to find out whether lab tetratenite is as hardy and useful as the outer space material. Well, hey, if you send up a rocket and go get it, you can get some. So neat that they can make this stuff rather than waiting for enough meteorites to fall to ground
Yeah.
or
Right. Yeah.
digging up the earth and causing all kinds of wonderful waste byproducts in doing so.
Yeah. I mean, I think I made some little pips like for our Star Trek uniform
Mm-hmm.
with those rare earth magnets. And what's funny is they just get close together and they go sticky. They snap together. I
Yeah,
think yours even did that.
mine doubled up. I'm like, what kind of rank insignia is
I'm
pip,
getting
pip,
demoted.
blank, pip?
Yeah, you're getting demoted.
Well, first one flipped onto the other one. I was like, pip, pip, blank, pip. There's supposed to be 4 in a row. What happened to number 3? 3 flipped onto 4.
Right.
And then fixed that. And then later one of them fell off and then a second one fell off. I got demoted at DragonCon. So I
That's
have
right.
some kind that actually have the pin backing like I
Right.
already have. I got to get those for the cruise. Need to restock them. And my white uniform that had the rust stain on it
Oh
from
yeah. Were
magnet.
you any luck with
They
that?
got that out. I picked it up Friday. Like, oh, you miracle worker lady, you. And then I've also got in my cart along with new pips that don't fall off from magnetic disruption and a new comm badge that's not magnetic. So that's all fixed up. So we're going to get some new props this year.
All
That'll
right.
probably be like a Christmas thing.
Yeah.
Okay, on with the next story. NASA has successfully launched deployment and retrieval of LOFTED. This is another clever NASA acronym that stands for Low Earth Orbit Flight Test of an Inflatable Decelerator.
That's right.
Now,
It
at
looks
first,
like it looks like a big speaker.
or a mushroom cap. Yeah.
Yeah. I was thinking, they put it out in space so they could rock out.
Or the Sarlacc. Yeah, kind of looks like a Sarlacc sucking on a soda can.
Somebody dropped a can in there.
So what they're doing is it's the rockets that they're sending up, they want to be able to bring them back. And the problem that they're describing here is that they want to go to other places, not just Earth. So one of the ways that you slow down a vehicle as it's entering the atmosphere is you use the atmosphere, and it turns that energy into heat, the friction of the atmosphere going by. Well, if the surface of your spacecraft is only so big, you may not be able to slow down, especially in a thinner atmosphere like Mars.
Right.
So they said, we need a bigger brake. I mean, that's effectively what this is. It's braking against the atmosphere because the surface area of the vehicle itself, the rocket or the rocket body, as it were,
Mhm.
is not sufficient enough.
Right.
And you can't send up a parachute while you're still going at 15,000 kilometers a second. It'll just rip right off. You got to
Right.
slow down to a place where you can get to the parachute.
Right.
So that's what they're looking at using this for is Mars, Titan. Venus has a plenty thick enough atmosphere. You can cut it with a knife.
Yeah.
Yeah, and even Earth when you have a smaller body rocket coming back. So they deployed this. They re-entered the atmosphere. There's a video that shows you the computer modeling, and then they have some pictures of the actual thing happening. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. I was going to play it for everybody.
No,
Sorry.
don't. We'll get copyrighted. And then they pick it up on a ship. So it's kind of cool that they're coming up with this. And the thing that made me wonder, like, it's inflatable. wouldn't that sort of burn up as it's getting really hot, like a pop like a balloon?
Yeah, I kind of
But
thought the same thing when I first saw this. Yeah,
no, it's not. That's what all those little like needle-like structures are for, is to hold it rigid.
per structure. Yeah,
Yep.
that does look pretty cool. I like the video.
They've got
Yeah, and
various sizes to this too.
mhm.
They tested it with a low Earth orbit return, which they said 3 to 6 meter scale. The International Space Station down mass greater than currently possible, 8 to 12 meters, and the lower cost access to space through launch vehicle asset recovery, 12-meter scale. So you can get the small, medium, or large model.
Yeah. And in the video at the very end, it looks like a UFO is landing in the ocean with a
Mhm.
parachute, the way it's shaped.
Why would a UFO have a parachute?
I don't know. It just said that's what it looked like. Yeah. But it does make sense having a heat shield slash decelerator that's bigger than the vehicle. You
Yep.
know, you always see a rockets or the capsules rather, they have the heat shields and they're only as big as the vehicle itself. You're going to get this kind of flame on the side.
Yeah.
This would be awesome. Give a little more
Now,
room.
this next story I already heard about, but figured we'd cover it anyway. And whether it's news or hacks and strange stories is up to you. But from Ars Technica, the co-founder of the Oculus
Yeah.
has made a VR headset that can literally kill you.
Okay. I'm swearing off VR at this point.
If it has 3 little projections out from the forehead, that's the one you don't want to buy, because those
Why would
are little explosives.
why would you do this?
As just a concept. There's only one, and it's in their, like, art museum right now.
I don't say, how do you test it?
Watermelon? Oh, speaking of which,
Hey, hey,
Gallagher,
Charles, come in here for a minute.
who wants to be a game tester?
Yeah, this will
I
only
do,
take a
I do.
here. Play this. I put this on and play this game. It'll only take a minute.
Imagine what happens when you play Frogger.
Yeah, why?
So they've got a camera that is sensitive to this little, like, red blip in the game over screen. They tested with, what did they test? SAO? Sword Art Online.
Hmm.
So the co-founder is Palmer Luckey. He's the one who came out with the, Oculus at first. And they put right off the forehead area 3 little explosives. And when the camera detects this red signal from the game over screen, boom. Yeah, that was my first reaction, is why would you do that? And who would wear it? This is starting to sound like something straight out of Black Mirror.
Yeah, and it also sounds like was it No Country for Old Men? The guy was using the cow thing to kill people. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah,
Right in the forehead.
that'll pretty much do it for you if it goes
Yeah.
right. I wouldn't want to get anywhere near this. It would be just traumatic to put it on, even if it was disarmed. Like, you get that
Yeah.
thing away from me.
No, pass. Hard pass.
Yeah. He said, let's see. Oh. Sword Art Online anime. Where is the one that they've got?
Well,
Let's see. To be clear, Lucky says his deadly headset, which looks in images like a modified MetaQuest Pro, is, quote, at this point, just a piece of office art. A thought-provoking reminder of unexplored avenues in game design. That's pretty dark, man. Pretty
Mhm.
dark.
Yeah, and they talk about in the article. They talk about consequences in video games, and that people have these people in this image have electrodes on their arms. So I guess if something goes sideways, they get a
Yeah,
little pain.
that image looks like it's from 1979, in the
Yeah,
Atari days, but it's not. The caption says, what, 2001? Oh,
yeah,
those
that's
kids
right.
aren't dressed like, and why is it in black and white?
Yeah, why is it in black? I don't know.
Who knows? All right,
It,
that's it for the news, but we do have a Hacks and Strange story that came in from my daughter just like a half hour before we started broadcasting. It's a video on YouTube called The Commodorian. Yes, I said that right. Commodorian.
Commodorian.
This guy took 2 C64s and made an accordion, basically.
Yeah.
One hand does the finger music, like the piano side that you would see. I'm not an accordion player, and I don't claim to be one on TV. And the other side does the chords. And he used floppy disks to make the bellows. There is a complete build out, a concert, a how-to. If you want to build your own, Craig, I want to see you build one and learn to play it.
Shoot. I don't know. I did think it was interesting how he used floppies, like
Yeah.
the 5 1/4 floppies, to make the bellows in the middle. And when I was watching the video, I was like, "Oh my god, he's cutting floppies," thinking you can't really get them anymore. Or
It says no useful floppies were harmed
Yeah.
in the making of this video.
yeah. And as soon as I freaked out for a second, then it said, it said that, which was I thought it was interesting. But yeah,
Well,
he
seems
shows
pretty
how he did it.
imaginative.
Yeah.
I just the skills required to do this are baffling. So first of all, he can play the piano, he can play the accordion. Okay, that's cool in itself.
Mhm.
Then he had to manufacture all this stuff from scratch. Yeah.
Yep.
How could I possibly make a bellows? Then there's electronics in it. He soldered things right to the motherboard so he didn't have to worry about the connectors coming out. He says, I need the
Yeah.
sound, but I'm not going to put this big honking connector because it'll be inside the bellows. That's not
right.
going to work. Then he's got all the circuitry. He's got a like a fake tape deck in there. And one circuit board emulates the tape deck, and it's shared between the two C64s. So he goes through the boot process, and he says, if you hit Shift F1, it starts loading the program. You hit tape like a second later to make sure that the tape is ready, and it loads it up. And then you do the same thing for the other one, and it creates this wonderful 8-bit music. You have to watch like the second segment in there where he's playing Maple Leaf Rag by Scott Joplin. It's
Right.
it's amazing.
Well, at first, I also I saw the one Commodore 64 has a white keyboard. I was like,
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen that. They've always had dark brown. But I did a little looking online, and it looks like you can just buy another keycap set to swap them out.
Or that's the one they got in Europe. He's obviously
He's European. No, I mean, but I found online the minimalist keycap sets. You can swap out.
that's so you can tell so that you can tell the two different ones apart. The two
Yeah.
sides. You
That's
don't
right.
put it on upside down.
Oh wait. Oh, I'm seeing. It looks like. Oh, somebody said they had one in Germany. Maybe they did have a different color in some places. I've just never seen one. I always seen one with the dark brown keys.
Cool.
So
Thank
anyway,
you,
this
Julie,
is
for
pretty
sharing
cool.
that. It was very interesting.
Oh, and by the way, he had sensors on the bellows.
Right.
So it would blow air out like normal, but the sensor would know if there's it had a, what do you call that? The type of sensor, it would see how
Well,
much
it's a microphone.
airflow.
It was just a microphone. Because when you blow on a microphone, it made
Yeah.
noise. So
So-
what he wanted was the more you squeeze the bellows, the louder the music would get.
Yeah.
So he put a microphone right outside the hole, because the bellows is when you squeeze the bellows, it's going to expel air out this little hole. The more you squeeze, the more air, the louder that noise on the microphone. And then that was translated back to the computer for how loud should this be? So again, lots of software, lots of
envelope
hardware.
follower. That's what he called it. Microphone was goes to an envelope follower, and it would see the intensity like you just talked about.
That's me at tax return time. I'm an envelope follower. You get my money yet?
Yeah, I know, right?
Okay. Quick shout out to the chat room. Number of people that are with us, but nobody is chatting tonight. It's a very quiet crowd. Are we like competing with Grammys or something tonight?
Did we say something?
Sunday
Did we say
night
something
football?
wrong?
Well, you
Uh-huh.
can join us live on Sunday nights if you wish, 9:30 Eastern time. Even though everybody changed their clocks last week, it's still the same time, unless you're in Arizona and Hawaii. So hope to see you there. It's going to get really confusing when some states have changed and others haven't, but I'm just going to use 9:30 p.m. Eastern time on Sunday nights as our baseline reference
Yeah.
for now. What happens in the future is anybody's guess. So look forward to seeing you there.
Well, you can say that about anything.
Yeah. Oh, hang on. We're gonna get to our wonderful prognostication in a bit. Let's do
Okay.
the remember when first, though.
All right.
All right. So you found a story, another one from Ars Technica,
Yep.
about a Redditor. I believe this guy was in Germany. Yeah, German
Yeah.
Redditor named
hmm
Sea Whiz.
Hey, by the way, I love it when they throw the usernames in there. And they're,
Why not?
like,
Well, he found a very rare 66-year-old computer, the Libroscope LGP30 computer, and several 1970 DEC PDP-8E computers
wow.
in his grandparents' basement. Now, the LGP30 was first released in 1956 and is one of only 45 ever manufactured in Europe, and may be best known for as the computer used by Mel in the famous piece of hacker lore. Now, where was that? In the epic, The Story of Mel, first posted to a Usenet news group in 1983, the Libroscope programmer named Melvin Kay has been tasked with porting a blackjack program from the LGP30 to another computer. The story author, Ed Nather, is later tasked with finding a bug in the software. And along the way, he discovers Kay's ingenious and unconventional programming tricks. Also, Edward Lorenz reported developing chaos theory and the butterfly effect as a result of weather experiments conducted on the LGP30.
Wow.
Now, get this. How much storage do you think this thing had?
Probably like 5K. I don't know. What was it?
The storage on this thing, it says, originally this thing retailed for $47,000, which is
Jeez.
about $500,000 today. Okay.
Yeah. Right.
It weighed 800 pounds, and even so, people considered it a small computer at the time because of its desk-like size. Everything else took up a whole basement
Well,
anyway.
and yeah, look, take in consideration other computers, it does look like kind of small. Looks like almost like a large cooler. Like
Yeah, like a kind of like a mini freezer, whatever.
yeah.
So the LGP included 113 vacuum tubes, or what did we call them a little while ago? the Duotronic valves.
Yeah.
113 of those,
Third phone number.
1,450 solid state diodes, and a rotating magnetic drum memory, which is a 6.5 inch diameter and 7-inch long tube rotating at 3,700 RPM. Okay, that's a lot of storage moving fast. This could store 4,069 31-bit words. Now, none of these numbers line up with any base 2 thing that you've seen today, right?
Right.
It would have been 4096 and 32-bit words. But hey, it was the early days. You did what you could when all of that amounts to about 15.8 kilobytes. 15K, people. Not meg. Definitely not gigabytes. K. And he wrote a
Right.
blackjack program in 15K.
Wow.
Now, I remember when I first started doing some embedded systems programming,
Mhm.
using a 2K or a 4K EEPROM. So this was luxury, man. This
Yeah.
was good stuff.
That had enough room for you to stretch your legs a little bit.
He said, the only thing I know is that my grandfather used it for some civil engineering calculations in the 60s, and that he was one of only a handful of people in the country that privately owned such a computer.
Wow. He
Ooh.
laid out $47,000 to.
Here, I'm gonna do a quick screen share for the people at home. This
I
is
was
just,
trying to do that, but I couldn't. I gotta do something in the system settings.
oh, you got the permission thing?
Yeah.
StreamYard does it every once in a while. See, it looks kind of like a refrigerator.
Or a cooler. A nice, like a freezer.
Nice
like I mentioned.
chest. Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's the front view. Imagine it did have like a typewriter teletype mechanism for the input and output.
It had what? I'm sorry. Oh, typewriter type.
Yeah, teletype.
Hey, by the way, that
Let me
front
show
picture,
that.
it looks like if that was in the background of some Star Wars show or something, it would look normal.
They put feet on it and starts waddling around.
Bonk, bonk, bonk.
Yeah, fun stuff.
Yeah, that is cool.
Let's see. Okay, for some reason I have 2 tabs on that one. It was so good I had to see it twice. that brings us up with our patrons. So thank you very much to our patrons who support this show. You are responsible for a lot of stuff. And a couple of you even got, because you're paying at that higher level, you got
Yep.
our I invested in Technorama t-shirts.
That's right.
And on the bottom it says, better than Bitcoin, which is really true now. It's becoming more relevant
I
every
know.
day.
I know. Watching the news this last week, I was like, wow, it is.
See what you caused? We put out a t-shirt
Yeah.
and Bitcoin tanks. All the,
Yeah.
you
We
know,
systematically broke the Bitcoin industry.
with a t-shirt.
Yeah,
We're
with a
taking credit
t-shirt.
for that. We are totally taking credit for that.
Yeah.
It's all our fault. You put it on a t-shirt that Technorama is better investment than Bitcoin. Hey, $5 can.
That's right.
Thank you everybody who supports us. If $1, $2, $5 level, really appreciate it. It goes directly to funding this show. We've got StreamYard to pay off at the end of this month.
Pay
So
off.
another annual.
They know where the
fund for
bodies
that.
are located, so we got to pay them off.
We're making a donation to Wikipedia, their support of the show, because we get a lot of our history stuff from. We get all of our history stuff from them.
That's to say a lot of it. Yeah.
It's a birthday calendar. That's ours. So let's give out some names of these special people: Alexis Duran, Amber Elstad, Amy Bowen, Abner Braverman, Ben Vaughn, Brian Brown, Chris Martinez, Chris MC, Dandy Man Coyer. Thank you, Dean Jensen and Denise Inglis. Thank you, Gary Lindros, John Clifford, John Noble, Yorga Schrauen. Thank you, Crazy Joe Adventures, Kyle Nishioka, Leon, Mark Kilfoyle. Thank you, Mike Wills, Paul Mackey, Saturday Morning Media, Stephen Weshy, Steve Therian. I can speak today. That's a new thing.
Right.
Steve Cody, Steve London, and Tim Cook. All of you are greatly appreciated for your contributions to this show. And if you want to be part of this family, maybe even score yourself a 2023 t-shirt, well, go over to patreon.com/Technorama podcast. You know, I don't know too many podcasts that are sending out postcards to their patrons. So, you know, you get that too. And a special episode of Technorama where Craig and I kind of do the green room thing and we're talking backstage just for our patrons.
That's right.
Whether or not you listen to it is up to you.
Yeah. I hope it's worth listening to.
All right. That's let's tell the band to go away on that one. Thank you, band, for that.
Yeah.
Now, how are we doing on time?
We're good.
All right. We're doing all right.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I wasn't on the topic is Trek this last week, and you weren't on the last one, the one before that. And
right.
You were giving us a hard time for having an hour and a half show. Well, when I looked at the time this time, I was like, oh, it's almost an hour and a half.
I think it went that long.
It did. It was an hour 21 minutes.
Oh man, we got to shorten that thing up.
I was like, all right. So
that's because we talk about the episodes a lot.
Here's my my public shaming again.
Past the remote section.
Yes.
You threw me off with that one. We promise we'll keep this short.
Yeah.
What have you got, sir?
This is not really a show so much as this showed up on Netflix. It's called Triviaverse, and it's interactive. So you actually play a trivia game. So so it comes up with a couple of rounds. You can play single player or
this
with
was
two
around before. They had something like this. I know they had the Black Mirror adventure game.
Yeah, they've done a couple of things that were interactive like that. But then this is interesting because I was at my computer and I went, okay, I'm gonna try it. And you're able to click and hit the buttons. Well, I told Kim about it and while we were watching TV, and I said, let's try it. So we played a couple of games. I won a round, she won a round. It was like, oh, we need a tiebreaker. So we go to play a tiebreaker.
Yeah.
We both scored a tie on that.
Leave it there. Leave it alone. You keep the happy marriage. Leave it there.
We ended up playing one more round. She won, so that's okay. But what was cool was when I did the 2-player and it was on the TV, I totally thought we were going to be using the Roku remote, but that's not the case. It came up on with a QR code on the TV. I scanned it, and then with my phone, and you pass the phone back and forth, so
Oh,
you use it to as a remote to play the game. So and it worked pretty well. So player one does his round, then they do player two. So it was easy to pass it, back and forth.
that's
Some of the
pretty
questions were
intuitive.
hard. Some of the questions were hard,
Well, you want
especially on
them
the
to be
second
hard.
round. Yeah, I mean, like no, I mean like the first round you get medium type questions. The second round it was like, huh? How do I even supposed to know that? There's some. I'm just saying there's some really tough questions in there. So yeah, give it a try.
You want them to be challenging.
Yeah.
All right. Donna and I started a new show before she went on vacation again called In the Dark. This is 3-4 seasons. I got to check. We just got started. Very interesting show about a woman who's she's visually impaired. She's blind, and her life is a train wreck. It's terrible.
Hmm.
Uh, her parents, particularly her mom, really don't coach her too much, and she
Okay.
works for them at an animal shelter. But the story gets started when her friend, that actually you find out he saved her life from a mugging gone horribly wrong. And he saved her life. Well, now he turns up dead and or missing. But nobody really seems to be moving it along. Police say, "Hey, there's no body, so we can't really do anything." And she goes to his cousin and says, "Hey, you know, he's missing."
Hmm.
And he says, "I don't want the police involved because he's a drug dealer."
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So, so what? But she's really stressed out about this, and meanwhile, her roommate is having a romantic relationship, and it's fun, kind of getting into these characters. So, it's not a comedy; it's more of a drama.
Yeah.
We're just getting started on it. So,
Okay.
season 5 of The Crown is out. We started in on that, and then Donna left. We're
Yeah.
almost done with Great British Baking Show Collection 10. Then she
Collection
left.
10.
It's like, man, yeah,
I
they don't
watched
call them
some of those.
seasons.
Some of those are fun.
Oh, they are fun. It's
Yeah.
fun to see what they make, and the disasters that happen and the victories that are won.
I know I've seen a
And
few people trying to prop up their disaster. It's
yep,
terrible.
yep. Like, it's so everyone, and then it's kind of fun taking that home. It's like we'll make pizza and go, all right, Paul, judge the pizza. Oh, it's got a good crust, and
Yeah. Right.
but there's not enough toppings on it. So, In the Dark on Netflix. Started watching that. So if you want to watch, that's a good couples show, in my opinion.
Yeah.
All right. See, I told you that wouldn't take long. That brings us to the end already. Our
What?
question of the week for you this time around is, what is your favorite desktop or mobile app? Or if it's an app that's available on both, you can use the same app twice.
I would almost have to say a browser. You can almost do everything with a browser nowadays.
Not everything,
Almost everything.
almost everything.
Yeah.
All right. Don't say a browser. That's low hanging fruit.
Okay. Notepad.
Hmm.
Actually, I'll tell you one. I'll tell you a good one is Visual Studio Code.
That's a good
It's
one.
from Microsoft. It's free, and I believe it is. I think it is open source, but they got a lot of plugins for it too. I don't use a lot of plugins, but I have several. Um,
It's available
it,
on
it-
Windows and Mac. I thought Linux too, but I could be
yeah,
wrong.
yeah. It's on everything really. So, yep, it's a
It's
great
not
app.
available on OS 2.
I'm sure it's coming.
You said everything.
Well, let's see. OS2 Visual
He's got to go look.
Studio Code.
See what I have to
Um,
work with.
I don't see it. See, run it on Mac OS. I don't see it on here. Sorry, sorry, OS2 people.
Oh, I upgraded my 2 work machines to Mac OS Monterey on our day off.
Yeah, because they were pushing us to do it.
Yeah, it's like, well, you got it, and now I've got things like, hey, this extension is doesn't work on this. It's like, oh, now you got to deal with all that fun stuff.
An extension.
Yeah, something on my desktop machine from work. It came up with like the Google Finder extension is not working, but yet
I think.
Google Drive is syncing. So
think it
I
has
don't
to,
know what that's about.
I think it has to do with 32-bit applications they were
Nope.
trying to. That wasn't it?
That hasn't been an issue. I mean, because everything's been 64 for like what 3 or 4 releases now. You
Yeah, but
can't run
I did have
32-bit apps on there anymore.
I did have one app come up and complain, or the Mac OS was complaining about,
Yeah.
which wasn't a big deal. I was just like, oh, that's interesting. I didn't realize I had the 32-bit version of it on there. So
I know that, with the last 2, 3 releases, everything's been a little more secure, and you gotta answer that stupid permission question for every app. Like,
mhm.
Google Drive wants to access your you're like, "Yes, go ahead."
But it's like that on your phone too, at
I
first.
know. It's like, I just I know why you wanna do it, but it's getting to be like the end user license agreement. It's like, "Yes, go ahead. I'm not reading this
Actually,
anymore, and frankly, I don't care."
yeah. Well, I do. I think there's probably a better way to do that. Like when you install the app, just say these are the permissions we need. And just go ahead and get it out of the way. I don't know, something like that. But
Yeah.
I kind of appreciate it. But at the same time, it does get old. I know.
Yeah, I mean, somebody could sneak something in there, and you wouldn't give a second thought. It's like, so and so wants access to your contacts is usually where I draw the line because I just installed like WhatsApp on my phone to be part of
Mhm.
something that's running out of India. I know the people. It's a good group. I don't know much about WhatsApp at this point, but it said, "Would you like to access your contacts?" And I go, "No,
Yeah.
no, I
Oh yeah.
don't." Yeah,
Yeah.
so I can match up the phone numbers with anybody that
Yes.
recognizes
Well,
it.
yeah.
I don't have a lot of phone numbers for people in India, and out of the 800 people participating in this group, it's kind of a challenge. So this one guy is
Well,
broadcasting. He says, "Here's what you're gonna do today. Here's what you're
yeah.
gonna do today." It's a daily challenge to learn something,
Right.
and, you know, I multiple apps have done that, and usually contacts is where I'll draw the line because I
Well,
got sucked into it
yeah.
one time with LinkedIn, and
Mhm.
they said, "Would you like" LinkedIn would like to access your contacts, and I said, "Yes," not knowing that it was going to spray all my contacts with invites. Now, I know
Oh
the
yeah. That's
policy
that.
is strange.
Yeah. That and early days of Android, before they really prompted you for permissions, there were apps that would just, we need phone permission, we need camera permissions. Like,
Yep.
but this is a chess game. You know, why? I don't get it. So, that's why I'm willing to put up with the prompts to some degree.
Yep. Just read them closer than I do. Alright.
Yeah, be careful.
We're gonna go maybe that should be our Patreon topic. Oh,
Yeah.
we just talked about it. All right. Thank you very much, Craig. Let's get on out of here.
All
There's the
right.
music. If you want to get in touch with us, don't forget November is International Call Technorama Voicemail Month.
Or you can text us.
Or you can text us.
Yeah.
707, put that information on the screen for our
Oh,
viewers as well. 707-530-2428. That last part spells chat, by the way. 707-530-chat. You can call us, text us, or email us at technorama@chuckchat.com. We do get those as well. We'd love to hear from you. Thank you, Joe and Mike, for sending your comments in via voicemail. And
yeah.
thanks to everybody else who participated in that as well. Look forward to hearing the rest of you. You may, we have to say it like Grammar Girl does, you may get on the show if you leave us a voicemail.
Yes, you might.
No promises, because, some of them, if you leave a dirty joke, that doesn't guarantee anything. Till next time, give me a binary high five, Craig.
All right. 101. Thank you. Thanks for listening. See you next time.
Done. I've gone back to recording straight to the USB drive on the mixer.
And did it work?
It did.
Okay.
We did. I did my podcast interview on Monday at work. That worked fine. And I did something else. Yeah. So I've got this one is just doing a stereo track right there. And then the podcast one is left channel, right channel, 2 mono tracks because it's just 2 people speaking.
Right.
Because my H6 card reader is getting wonky and I don't trust it anymore.
I don't blame you.
Maybe next year I'll get work to buy me a new H6. Hey, I use it for work too.
Tell me you need 6 of them. You need a backup.
I have a hard time buying a new H6 because I could use the USB drive on the mixer. I could hook up the Rodecaster Pro, but that would take up more desk space. I don't need more things on my desk. It's kind of nice not having the H6.
No, the mixer's got it built in. Why not?
Well, I know. Yeah. Because it's way over there.
Yeah.
No,
right.
the actual why not is when I first started using this, the
Um,
mixer has the record button on a
uh-huh.
separate screen. So as I play a clip,
Oh,
and I'm poking around going, okay, fade down, fade up, and if something ends, I gotta go switch screen, stop. So there's a chance of human error.
well, remember when I think when you first got it, we tried to record something and it didn't record at all.
That was one I didn't know about the routing as well as I
Okay.
do today.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Oh, I've got that down cold.
Yeah.
In fact, that's what I did. I said, "Hey, if I'm gonna record over there, I wanna make sure that I can do the interviews as me in the left channel, someone else in the right channel, make 2 mono tracks." And I went,
Yeah.
"Okay, that was it?"
Yeah. Right. Well, I did, on the Patreon show, I do want to talk about my friend Mark real quick, if you don't mind.
All right, we're gonna end the broadcast then. Thank you, everybody,
Okay.
for watching and hanging out with us, whether you did it live or you are, checking us out later. Appreciate
Yeah.
it. Hope to see you on a Saturday, a Sunday night at 9:30 Eastern time real
Yeah.
soon. Take care, everybody.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.